Has our friend here actually told any of you who I am?
If he did, I wasn't paying attention.
No bigger fish in here.
Don't worry, you don't tell me to do introductions. I know who you all are.
My name's Granny.
She looks at Alo and then looks at Granny and then kind of back and forth between them for a second.
No, don't try to find a resemblance, because there's not one.
What? You think I can't pilot just because I don't have eyes?
Don't say her name. She's just gonna start talking again.
What, Granny?
What?
Oh, what's going on? It's cool. How's it going?
Okay, so you guys are splitting up?
That's what it looks like.
I just don't like the way you said it. I don't like it one bit.
Hello everyone, and welcome to D&D Digital's Starships and Scoundrels campaign. My name is Dave, and I'll be your game master. We're using the Star Wars 5e system to tell the story of a crew of a smuggling freighter known as the Mayday, set about a year after the fall of the Jedi Order. Each session is going to be going live on Wednesdays around 3 p.m. Pacific time, so make sure to subscribe, click that bell, do all those YouTube things, and tune back in next week for more action. With all that out of the way, let's get into it.
Last time on Starships and Scoundrels, the crew of the Mayday left the problems of Cascadia behind. Their new destination, the former cloning world of Kamino. R5 suggested that they stop by asteroid 10B on their way to install a new transponder code. The Mayday set off once again into hyperspace and arrived at Kamino. They detected the presence of another ship, but chose to fly discreetly rather than investigate the other ship. The Mayday then began its descent into the turbulent atmosphere of Kamino. And we return now to the crew of the Mayday as the raucous sound of thunder shakes the very frame of the ship around you. The windows of the cockpit are completely engulfed in clouds as turbulent winds just toss the ship about. R5, you're basically having to hold on with everything you have in your droid body just to keep the ship upright. The ship sensors are going haywire from all of the interference in the atmosphere, and it seems like you might all be in for a pretty bumpy landing if things don't go well. To determine how the flight is all going to shake out, we're going to do a skill challenge. You guys will collectively need to succeed on 3 checks before you accrue 3 failures. Each skill can only be used for 1 successful check, and each player can only contribute 1 success. And you can reattempt a skill that was failed, but the DC will be higher each time you try that same skill. Be warned also, there are some potential consequences for failure, so choose your skills wisely.
Is guidance allowed?
Guidance will be allowed on 1 check.
Okay.
Actually, you could do it on 2, because there's max of 6 check or max of 5 checks. Yeah, you could do it on 2 of those.
Cool.
Okay, what about putting aptitudes?
That would be 1 of those.
Okay.
Who wants to go first? As everything is just shaking and tossing and turning all around you.
Well, I can offer to make a piloting check if anybody's down for that.
Of course.
Sure.
Indeed. Go ahead and give me a piloting check, please.
Will do. And that's an 18 on the dice for a total of 28.
Yeah, that is a full-on, no conditions success. You're able to nimbly just kind of guide the Mayday through the various currents as everything is shaking around you, minimizing the bumpiness of the ride, at least. Who else has a skill they would like to try?
Ultimately, what are we trying to do? Navigate the storm or trying to find a place to land? Or, well, I guess not a place to land, but a place to drop our submarine off?
The success of the skill challenge is basically to get through the storm into a more calm part of the atmosphere where you're not constantly under these dire conditions.
Okay. I will pitch a nature check for myself to try and recognize some kind of storm pattern to get to the edge of the storm faster.
Give me a nature check.
And I'm going to use my Vow of Fate and just take the 18 and add my +2, so that's a dirty 20.
Yeah, that is another success on that one. So nice, you guys are already at 2. We need another check from another person, please.
I'll throw in a technology check to try to buffer the systems against any kind of power surges.
All right, nice. Go ahead and do that. I am going to use a fate point to have you roll at disadvantage.
Would you like some guidance then?
I would love some guidance, Granny.
All right, so go ahead and make me that roll.
Oh, Lord.
Granny guide.
That's an 18 with Granny's help.
18 with Granny's help. Good thing you got that help from Granny, because that is enough to get you to the success on that one. R5, you're doing an absolutely phenomenal job of just guiding the ship through all the air currents and the clouds all around you, even without being able to see. You're just kind of flying off of whatever amounts to a gut for a droid. But you also have a good bit of assistance between Dread and Granny and H4, all just kind of helping to provide you extra information about how these storms would normally behave, keeping any of the incidental lightning strikes from doing any proper damage to the ship, and keeping everything flying successfully. So it takes a few minutes of this pretty aggressive flying that even under the best of control is still a rough ride. You pop out below what is kind of the floor of the clouds, and you just see a vast ocean extending in all directions. Everything in the sky is just full of clouds. You see occasional lightning strikes bursting out and reaching all the way down to the surface of the water. And you also, now that you are outside of that, you're able to see on your sensors your client/employer's ship come out of the clouds behind you.
We should see if she's got a ship of her own to go underwater, or if she'd like to link up, and hop aboard.
Sure.
That sounds like a good plan to me.
So I hate to be the one asking the stupid questions again, but who is the she you're referring to?
That is a great question. And he's gonna hit the radio button, or the comms button. Alright. Gig workers to client. Are you prepared to dive, or would you prefer to dock with us, and we have a submarine available?
I do feel that it would be better if I were to ride along in your sub. We could meet near the surface and I'll transfer over to your ship.
Sounds like a plan.
Right?
Over and
So
out.
she'll just kind of do this. She'll send over some coordinates with just kind of a message of like, this is a rough estimate that I've got of where we need to kind of start looking. Hard to tell exactly where a sunken city will be after all the currents have had their way while the city was sinking. So.
Well, it is right in the name. It's underwater. Duh.
Yeah, so she will, if you guys just want to follow her, she'll guide you down to the surface of the water, basically, kind of into a low, hovering position above it. And so she will, she'll message or radio over to hold steady, and I will, I'll jump across and I'll just climb in through the hole at the top. Yeah, and so you can see the cockpit open on her sort of Y-wing looking thing. And she moves towards the back and jumps off of one of the fins onto your ship.
Is it a Y-wing, or it just looks like a Y-wing?
It's like a prototype. And so she'll climb on down through the portal. You can see her ship actually also then the cockpit close and take off. You can see like the little astromech droid on its back, or on the back side of it, just kind of spinning around and flying on up in space. She climbs nicely.
What model of astromech?
Specifically, it is an R40.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That'd be a hell of a way to leave the campaign now.
Yeah, you see her descend down into it. Still got the kind of full cloak and hood that she had up before. But as she finishes climbing down the ladder, you see her toss it back, and the rest of you, for the first time, actually get a look at this woman's face. She's got long, dark hair that's like tied back in a ponytail with like a big streak in it. You can see kind of a leather jacket popping up underneath, like from kind of like the neck of the hood. And she takes it off as it's already drenched from the downpour of rain in the couple seconds that she was outside. Pleasure to meet you all. Has our friend here actually told any of you who I am?
No, he's just used the word client. So I believe proper introductions are in order.
If he did, I wasn't paying attention.
The name is Huntail, and I'm an old friend of, I believe he prefers to go by Dread at this point, but I guess it depends on the company.
What does her force aura look like to Granny?
Fairly gray, leaning a little blue.
And I assume not very, not strong, like she doesn't come off as a force-sensitive person.
No, just like the very basic level that most life forms exert.
Alright.
Sorry, right. So, I'm Elo. Pleasure to meet you, former kid.
Yes, I know. It's a pleasure to meet you as well. Don't worry, you don't all need to do introductions. I know who you all are.
My name's Granny!
You know, that is a good point. I was not quite sure who you were.
My name's Granny!
How
She's
she's
a new
find
pickup.
yourself aboard this ship?
It's a great question.
You know how sometimes smaller ships will just kind of latch onto larger ones and just stay there and you don't know why?
Are you calling me a Minoc?
Yes, I do believe that is basically what he referred to you as.
She's apparently Alo here's grandmother.
No,
Jeez,
we're not
Jonathan.
playing this game again. Let's
She
move on
looks
immediately.
she looks at Alo and then looks at Granny and then kind of back and forth between them for a second.
No, don't try to find a resemblance, because there's not one. And
Does
also,
seem unlikely, but
that's because it is unlikely. So,
I
Huntail,
suppose you could have been adopted.
no, let's not pull on that string. I was wondering what exactly the work that you had in mind for us is. I mean, we have a submarine ready. What exactly are we looking for?
The plan is to go down to Topeka City, which is down at the bottom of the ocean, and, well, it was formerly on the surface. There is some secretive information in there. Well, if it still exists anywhere in the galaxy, it's likely only there. It's information that at least I and Dread here have a vested interest in, I suppose you could say.
What sort of return are we looking at for labour, I guess you could say?
What kind of rate do you normally charge? I suppose any valuables you can find along the way are yours for the taking. You get full shares of it. I will not take any for myself. And I can provide a modest sum for payment at the end.
I'm going to be doing this one pro bono, so whoever.
It's good, I wasn't going to pay
Council
you
rules.
anyway in particular.
Wow.
Take his share.
No.
Oh, just me. Whatever
wasn't-
I find, I'll pass it on to you all.
It's oddly nice of you, Jed. I don't think I've ever heard you say anything like that.
I've
No.
got
Good to know.
certain
Good to know
things I
people can
want
change.
and certain things I don't.
All right. Well, I suppose the sooner we do this, the sooner we can find out what's down there. So I guess we want to move over to the submarine. I think it can hold. It said it could hold 10 people, if I remember correctly, right?
I believe it was 8.
8.
Which is
Well,
still enough.
that does cover
You guys
it,
currently
yeah.
have 7.
Like 6.5. Yeah.
That's true. I think technically age 4. No, you guys still need seats.
You can just sit on R5's head, right?
It is
You
flat.
just have to balance the whole time.
Totally easy to do.
Yeah, I'm not balancing a. I'm not
Very good,
balancing a
that's better
droid
than
on my
seeing.
head for the entire trip. That's
Is-
just
Well,
not-
fortunately, you don't have to.
Because I'm a droid?
Is the
Because
submarine?
we don't know where the city is, and it could be like hours of trying to balance a ball on my head like a trained animal.
I just said you don't have to. What? I didn't need
Which I
the
appreciate.
whole life story about it. What's up? As he turns
is the-
to
is-
Ayla.
Is the submarine one seat next to the other and just a row of like 2 rows?
2 rows of 4,
Yeah.
2 rows of 4.
basically.
The front 2 are parallel with each other. The rest of it's like kind of stacked a little
And
bit.
whoever's in the front 2 have to pilot it or
Yeah.
control it. Okay.
Yeah, the front is like primary pilot seat, secondary like back like co-pilot seat.
Okay.
Everything else has like some kind of little station basically that can be accessed. There also are as you kind of go out to look, you notice that it was actually fitted with 2 very small torpedo launchers, like one on either side. Nothing that has too big of a payload, but it's at least got something like that.
There's something. Yeah.
Seems like this is more of like an exploratory vessel than a combat vessel. So the torpedoes seem like they're meant to kind of overcome obstacles, more so than being an offensive weapon.
All right, if we're ready, I guess we can start. And
Any more questions?
Bonjour.
I mean, that's
I'll
not
take
a
that as a
question,
question,
but
or,
yes.
no one knows what that means.
Bonjour.
Saying it again doesn't make it
How
clearer.
can you be unsure about whether if you're greeting someone?
Oh, that's what he's saying. Okay.
I was asked to make it a question, so I put it in the form of the question.
Alright, in we go, I would say.
Let's just get
Alo will sit whatever is next to Granny. Is not next to Granny. Alo will sit.
So it's
I
not
was,
next.
I was confused there for a second. I was like,
That
really?
is-
Wow, okay.
Yes.
very,
No,
very
no,
clear
no.
about what.
Whatever.
Wow.
I will directly
His 5
sit next
days
to
in his
Alo.
bedroom all by himself have like really shifted his perspective.
Still, yeah. Damn it.
Granny's gonna sit in the co-pilot seat.
Actually, damn it. All right.
Yes!
I thought it too late.
Take
I
the
thought it-
wheel.
I thought it too late. All right.
Yeah, I'll
Got the ribbit and the
Yes.
blind open.
I'll
Piloting our
take
ship.
the pilot seat.
Through open water.
What? You think I can't pilot just because I don't have eyes?
Well, I mean, what is she gonna hit? Really, we're in open water right now.
Better safe than sorry. I mean, how else would you be able to detect any?
Red curls into the seat and you hear a bunch of metallic clicks and clacks.
It's a very unfortunate grinding noise that happens, but it is heard without a doubt. Kind of vibrates through the floor into like the shell. It's a weird sensation. And yeah, you all climb into the submarine, which has been attached onto like the bottom side of the Mayday, and you're able to all kind of like line it up, get inside, and you hear R2, not R2, X2 over the comms into the submarine. It's like, all right, ready to go down in the water?
Ready as we'll ever be, I think.
Yep.
Why?
Now or never.
Okie dokie. And he'll start lowering you down about half of the rest of the way of the water and release you about 15 feet over the average height of the water. There's a big rolling waves, so he needs to maintain like a certain altitude to really be safe about it. And releases, and your submarine just plummets the rest of the way down. You feel like a little bit of a jolt as you come into contact, but the aerodynamic design of it makes it so that way the impact is too bad. I guess it's hydrodynamic. Anyway, and you're sitting now on the surface as the waves kind of roll you up and down. And X2 comes in over the comms again. It's like, well, I'm gonna go find somewhere nice and quiet to park it up in space. Call me if you need me. And the Mayday will turn and fly off back up into orbit.
About how long?
Should we tell him to be careful? There is another craft up there.
Wait,
And he'll
here's another.
punch in on
We're not
his,
alone?
comms system. Ground team to Eagle. Be advised, maintain a low profile.
Roger, roger. We'll run on quiet mode as soon as I get out of the atmosphere.
Cheers, mate.
The turret has quiet mode.
I guess.
So, you ready to begin your descent? You're not quite at the coordinates yet that Huntail gave, but you're fairly close. And it makes sense at this point to begin your descent under the water to start actually scanning around. So, all right.
Everybody know how long this is gonna take, actually?
Well, first we need to find this place, so...
We don't know where it is.
We know where. I mean, she knows where it is.
And is this like airtight, or are we going to need rebreathers when we get in there? Or we don't know.
To my understanding, it was bombarded from space, so I wouldn't think that the entire station would be in the most... it wouldn't be in the best of shape. So having a rebreather at your disposal would be recommended. Which
And
you guys
at this
did
point,
acquire rebreathers, so you're all...
Yeah,
you're all
I was gonna say, everybody, if you will reach under your seats.
One little springy arm just kind of flops out.
Harry's actually gonna look under the seat.
Be advised, the rebreather cannot be used as a flotation device.
Yeah, you all, those who look, you feel, and Harry, you actually see, because you looked underneath the seat, a rebreather. Not necessary for the droids, but everybody else. I don't think any of you are amphibious species, so I believe you all would need rebreathing.
Not anymore. One of us
It's
was.
Kiba.
Yep.
We need Kiba.
Left right before the water bit. It happens. But yeah,
Might have
so-
got a hold of Kiba.
What a jackass. No, moving on.
Yeah, so I guess you guys begin your descent to go. So the ever-churning waves begin to rise up above you as you go below the surface of the water, descending into the inky darkness of the deep ocean. Occasionally, you'll even start seeing some kind of small to medium-sized fish swimming over the glass-like top of your submarine. A few of them even kind of glow with the bioluminescence as you begin to sink deeper into the darker parts of the water. Going along for about 30 minutes or so, and you all kind of start to get this feeling whenever you look out the window, even amongst the very, very dark water, that there's something else moving out there. Hard to make out really any details because of the low light, even through the headlamps that your submarine has. But you just get that sense there's something perpetually just out of the corner of your eye.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
You're not picking up anything on scanners, are you?
If anybody wants to use the scanners, I would say not the pilot, because the scanning desk is at one of the other chairs. So whoever wanted to.
I will go ahead and scan.
All right, give me a technology check, please.
He just stares at the screen, and I've got an 11.
You don't pick up anything distinct as you're going. You also notice that as it's kind of coming back and starting to give you somewhat of a map of the area, that you are almost deep enough that you don't have any more you don't register the surface, but you also can't pick up the bottom, just with how deep the ocean is just surrounding this planet.
His eyes locked on the screens. The sea is everything. It covers all of the globe. Its breath is pure and healthy. It's an immense desert where man is never lonely, for he feels it all life on all sides. It is the living infinite. He just snaps out.
That was a yes or no question.
Where are we?
I don't know.
Turning this straight around.
Right.
So, you guys are gonna have another while before, as you continue your descent. But sorry, Kirby, are you gonna?
There's lights around the ship, yes, like outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Should
there's
we-
one primary headlamp pointed forward, and then there's some kind of basically running lights around the sides.
I know when we get this deep, shouldn't we turn off lights or something because you don't want to attract attention kind of thing, or is that not a thing? Hunto.
I can't say that I have a large amount of experience with deep sea exploration. I guess if you're trying to go unnoticed, that having less visibility is good.
I guess unnoticed to other creatures that can eat us in one bite kind of thing.
Like I said, I can't imagine that being darker makes you more easy to spot. So theoretically, something would be safer if it relies on the normal visible light spectrum for its detection of things.
How will we find our way if we cannot see?
The navigational system has at least put some coordinates programmed into it, so we at least have a heading. Should keep pointing us in that direction. Beyond that, probably use the scanners to make sure that we don't crash into any solid objects.
Besides, Granny couldn't see in the first place, so it's not gonna hurt her job.
Don't say her name. She's just gonna start talking again.
What, Granny?
What?
Granny?
Granny, if we turn off the lights, are you gonna have a harder time navigating?
What lights?
Alright, we're running dark.
You guys go ahead and turn off your lights. So because of the kind of glass-domed top nature of the submarine, whatever lights you also have on inside the sub will be theoretically visible, but less visible than the exterior lights. Do you still want the interior lights on, or do you want to go full dark?
Ooh, I'm down to go full dark mode. I don't know about
If we
anyone
do
else.
it in full dark mode,
Alright,
am I
now
gonna
I'm
have
less
trouble?
excited about this. I just don't like the way you said it. I don't like it one bit. What do you think, Granny?
Okay. We don't want to get spotted. Stop. What? All right.
Detail: if we do go full dark mode, I won't be able to see the controls.
Don't worry. I can.
Yeah, you don't have like a night vision or anything. You don't have like a special attachment that's you.
Nope.
Oh,
I can pilot for you if you want.
How would you be guiding the ship then?
With the controls.
Until about how much longer do you think before we get there?
I honestly don't know. Could be a couple of hours, maybe.
Oh, wow. All right.
I only have estimated coordinates that we're working off of here.
Oh, you
so-
haven't been there. That's right. All right.
No.
I'm sorry, do you have somewhere to be, Halo?
No, heavens no. Just trying to get a gauge of things. I mean, if we didn't pick anything up on the sensors, I think we should be fine with the lights we have on right now.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Me? No.
We?
I don't know if we are. I have to ask everyone else.
No.
I mean, I'm not afraid of the dark. It's
What are you-
just
What is there to be afraid of in the dark?
Nothing. I actually quite enjoy the dark.
I believe Granny has the instinct to guide us where we need to go.
Would you be willing to bet your life on that?
We?
Who's we? You keep saying we. You know, I don't know how to.
On what grounds do you trust her?
We are not on ground, so...
Actually, Captain, this is a question for the Captain. What do you think, Captain?
Granny, take the wheel.
All right, Granny's gonna take the wheel.
You take co-pilot.
Okay.
Elo kind of sits back and.
Oh.
You can't
You
argument
said it
off
yourself.
of.
You said, what's the worst that can happen? She's gonna run into nothing because there's nothing here.
Or we do find something and run into it, like the bottom of the floor, bottom of the ocean floor.
Well, that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
is she bumping
Whoa.
into things this
Could
whole time?
Could we have someone run a scan one more time, just to sort of make sure this, we're as alone as we can be?
If it helps, do you want
alright,
to run a
if-
scan every 30 minutes? Is that a thing?
Yeah, but you could do.
I saw Joe Cox on you do it. It seemed like he did a scan very well.
You can repeat the scan every 30 minutes or so.
Would it put your little heart at ease if I did a little scanny-wanny into the big dark ocean for you, Halo?
Yeah, it would, actually. Thank you for asking.
And I will scan once
So
again.
the first one that's just happening moments after, it still is gonna. You basically look and see that it still is reading the exact same thing, but you know that you can check again after you've traveled for a little while. This is just like
Okay.
immediately after.
Right.
You're like, oh wait.
Sorry, I thought we had traveled more before we had turned off the lights, but okay.
Not quite yet, I don't think. But soon. We'll basically just, unless you guys have anything else you want to do, we can just jump to the next time after you pass a little ways. So yeah, well, another 30 minutes passes. Go ahead and give me another technology check.
Alright, this one's for you.
Start hearing snoring from the
I'm gonna
back.
use a fate point, roll at advantage. Jonathan,
Okay.
15.
Leaning in the front, and a look is snoring in the back.
A 15. You're keeping your eye on the scanners kind of as you continue through this path, as the ship continues to descend deeper and deeper into the water. Around the edges off to the starboard side of the ship, you do see kind of a big shadow kind of clip around the edge of it. At least for a few moments. You see it pass by a couple times, kind of keeps working its way clockwise around the radius. Seems a little bit inconsistent in its size, just you figure you're only catching parts of it as it goes.
Good. How are we doing?
Doing great. Doing great.
Okay.
He's
Is
just
that a
like
question?
tapping the screen.
So another 30 minutes passes. You're still continuing down. Give me another technology check.
Dave, do you mind if I send this to like D&D Beyond or Google or something? I haven't broken a 10 in 3 weeks.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, no.
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
We're gonna give
some
this
since-
one more try after I've complained about it.
Maybe it had you.
Okay, 19. All
There
right.
we are.
There you go.
Magnificent.
All right, so at this point, as you continue down and down, the shadow begins to creep closer in. It starts to get within some higher fidelity level of these scanners, and you begin to get a bit more of an outline. You can tell that it's a very long creature. It might be over 100 feet or so in length, somewhat broad as well. Not near, but much longer than it is wide. And again, it kind of keeps, it seems like you start to notice that every time it swoops back onto the scanners, it's getting closer, making its way mostly kind of from behind you at this point.
Alright. Hey, R5.
Yep.
Let's cut the engines and go dark for a bit. Navigate only with the rudder, if you don't mind. Just for a little bit.
Say less.
Alo's gonna try to get on one of the not turrets, one of the harpoons if he can.
Torpedo.
Torpedoes.
Yes.
Okay.
Just to make sure. Yeah, you're totally. We'll just say that you were already sitting.
Okay.
in
Cool.
One of the torpedo stations. So yeah, you mount up over there. R5, go ahead and give me a piloting check, as you are going to attempt to maintain your course while kind of shutting stuff down and not being observed and all that.
Ooh, okay. That's a total of 26.
Nice. Yeah,
God,
you're
that
able
almost
to.
went super low.
Yeah, you're pretty confident with your particular maneuvering that you're doing for this.
So, Trid, am I looking for something? Are we alone?
No,
No?
unnecessary movements. Please. Just keep your eyes peeled for any moving shadows.
Dave, can I ready in action outside of combat?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much is
Okay.
basically saying,
All right.
hey, if I see this thing or X thing happens, then I'm going to do whatever action you want to take.
Yeah, if I see something that, it's close enough to where I don't need radar, basically.
So it's very, very dark down here, so you're not really going to have much in the way of visible range unless something is very close.
Shit, so is it going to be is it blind fighting almost? Am I essentially
I mean, it's
mechanically?
it'd be submarine warfare where you're kind of relying on radar and stuff like that
Got it. Okay.
to actually view. You have the resources you need, so long as somebody has it on the scanners, you'll be able to target it as usual.
And you do your tricky dicky magic stuff to see if there's anything alive nearby.
I can't, but he kind of grudgingly shoots a glance over at Granny. Oh, I think someone else here can. Granny?
It's pitch black down here,
What?
so I did not see you do that.
Oh. Granny,
Also, she definitely didn't see you do that.
Granny, are you sensing anything outside of the submarine?
Dave, is she sensing anything outside the submarine?
What's the range on your abilities?
30 feet.
No.
No.
No. I don't
Simple as
see
that.
anything. I don't. No.
Alright, well, could you just, give us an alarm of some sort if you do?
Okay.
When did she suddenly turn into the mother from Golden Girls?
Just now. All right. So, because you're running in such a dark mode, you're not able to move very quickly at this point. So, how long do you want to wait before you re-engage systems and continue?
I mean, we could also just make a run for it and try to outrun whatever it is. I don't know if we are going as fast as we can.
Let's go for about a half hour, and then we'll take our chances.
All right.
Is that acceptable to You on tail?
Yes, I suppose. I don't like being in this dark place like this. Feel very exposed, but I suppose you are all in charge of this ship.
I don't like the odds of us getting... If this ship gets damaged, then it's our only way up. So I'm a bit hesitant to put it at risk.
Understandably. And yeah, you guys wait around for another half hour. So start flipping engines back on. You can keep the exterior lights turned on, but just at least the interior stuff's gotta turn on in order for the engines to actually go. And
I'd like to try to scan as soon as we put the interiors back up.
Go ahead and give me another technology check.
All right, roll 20. Come on, you and me, we're friends. We're friends now. You like me? You hate me. It's a 1 for an 8.
Sure is, baby.
See, now the dice are in your head.
Yeah, exactly.
They're insulted that you wanted to betray it and switch to a different roller.
They even gave me that little bit of
I feel
hope
like
just
what
to tear
happened is
that
they
apart.
realized...
Roll 20 is
realized
capricious.
they had roped me back in. They were like, now we can get him for real.
But yeah, so with that roll, no, scanners are clear.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
You resume travel and continue puttering your way on down. You get about, you start finally on the scanners, you begin to pick up the something solid beneath you. It's not, you see, as you get closer, as you start being able to read on the scanners, the distance, and it's not just like a flat seabed, you're kind of descending on top of a underwater mountain range. Kind of like a lot of peaks and valleys and a lot of crevices and kind of canyons sinking down towards the bottom and everything as well. Yeah, as you start to get close, kind of descending a little bit below some of the peaks of these mountains in there, you do now, not even a check required, clear as day, you actually see a larger shape now on the scanner. This one, you figure it measures about 150 feet in length, and as you get very close, you feel a giant whoosh in the current, and your whole ship begins to kind of move a little bit.
All right.
Overhead, you see on the scanner that this creature has swam over you. You see up above you just this massive body that fills up pretty much your entire field of view, just scales running all along its narrow, kind of winding like an eel body through the water. And the head seems to have passed by before you were able to get a good view. Just as the tail begins to pass, you see the entire body flip around, and you can start to see out of the darkness this long maw with long, razor sharp teeth extending out, swimming towards your ship. What do you guys want to do?
Always a bigger fish.
Did it come within 30 feet?
Oh, it sure did, yeah.
I sense something!
Then,
Great.
Got it.
Can I swivel the torpedo launcher?
Are we there yet?
To face directly behind us.
Yeah. You could.
Okay.
It'll shoot out and then it'll redirect itself.
Oh.
Towards a target.
Torpedoes. Got it.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not going to follow anything, but you can basically kind of program it to go out and then angle left once and shoot off that direction.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
So yeah, you kind of prep it so that way it's pointing behind you. What was the pilot doing?
R5 maneuvers.
This thing's swimming towards you. What are you doing?
Serpentine.
Okay, evasive maneuvers. Oh god.
All right, go ahead and give me a piloting check.
Granny will help with guidance.
I guess Harry will go to the other torpedo.
Okay. You mount the other torpedo.
Gonna need that. So guidance is D4 or D6?
D6.
Okay.
Nice.
So that is... Oh, right. Yeah, it's a 17 total before
22.
guidance, and afterwards that bumps it up to 22.
It's swimming over towards you, and you see its jaw begin to open up, and you punch it right before it gets to you, and begin to plummet down towards all of the mountains below you. Your torpedoes are more or less lined up with this creature at this point for you guys if you want to.
Taking a shot.
Try to shoot it.
Taking a
How
shot.
many torpedoes do we have?
You have 6 total in the
6.
ship right now.
Okay.
Hmm?
I will let him take a shot. I won't take
What,
a shot.
All right,
Is this
Caleb,
a regular-
go ahead and just roll me a d20 plus your dex.
Dex. Okay.
Yeah, if you have proficiency in like heavy weaponry or something of that nature, then
No, I don't. Damn it. It's an 11.
yeah, even this thing's massive, but just it's just like slithering and writhing behind you, and the torpedo just goes.
How far back is it?
At this point, it's maybe 150 feet behind you.
Okay.
R5, maybe you can get us in between those crevices down there. Give us some type of shelter.
Wait, actually, should we scan it first to make sure we don't find any surprises down there?
Well, we have a surprise behind us.
Yeah, okay. Piloting.
But if somebody else, like if Dread, if you wanted to try to do some kind of scan on it, you can while this is happening. First, let's do the piloting check.
Okay, and that's a total of 25.
Yeah, you've got that going, and you're able to get down just about where what seems like a large enough kind of space for you to start weaving through. It's not super deep, but it's deep enough that you can at least not just be fully exposed. Dread, go ahead and, yeah, I guess give me a technology check. There's a few other instruments, because like I said, it was meant more as an exploratory vehicle than a combat vehicle, so it does have some things that pick up other information about what you're scanning. And it did it again!
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Wow.
God.
Use a big
Wow,
roll
buddy.
another one. Please, I want to see it so bad.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Paul, maybe you're right. Maybe.
All right,
Yikes.
just to amuse you. Just to
You're
amuse
cursed
you.
on roll 20.
There's no way you roll.
19 for
That came
for a
close.
total of 26.
It's the one next to the one.
Okay.
Very
Oh my goodness.
Right next to the one.
Sorry, just for the sake of it. Your new total.
26 after rolling a natural 1 for an 8.
Very nice. Yeah, this one, you're able to get some kind of more actual biological scans in addition to a bit more of a refined radar scan. You realize it has 2 very long arms extending out on either side of its body, kind of like reaching out towards you as you're all trying to get away. You slip down into this crevice, and it gets close enough that behind you can see its hands just kind of like digging and raking along the floor behind you as it continues to chase. R5, I'm going to need another piloting check as you're trying to navigate through this very tight canyon.
Okay,
Nice.
still rolling hot. That is a 27. I shouldn't have said that.
Very nice. No, you're able to keep
should not
yourself.
have
You're fighting it in.
You're able to keep yourself going for sure as the terrain kind of begins to. You start getting some areas where there's like archways forming. And you see this creature having to kind of like scramble around, and you start to gain a little distance, and then it catches up again. It's this constant push and pull. Anybody have anything else that they want to do, or are we just going for more?
Would
Can
like
I-
to
can I-
use attack power.
Which tech power would you like to use?
I would like to create an explosion in the exact location of the creature's head, if I can. Or at the very least, as close as I can get while in motion.
No, you could definitely, you could do that for sure. So because of the way the technology works, you kind of have to get whatever device you have that launches out this little explosive device lined up into actually, you can kind of access one of the torpedo tubes and feed it in, and you're able to launch it out. Go ahead and roll me 8d6.
Is it gonna make a dexterity save first?
Yes, it will indeed.
I'm gonna make sure it's, getting its fair chance.
Appreciated. It rolled a natural 20.
Ah,
So I believe
Okay, so it will
that
get half
regardless of its
of-
modifier.
it will get half of 26 points of fire damage.
Nice. You actually see that it does even less than that because fire damage is less effective underwater. But you
Yay.
do see like one side of it as it lights up. You see that it's this actual kind of iridescent combination of like kind of purple and green weaving through all of its scales. But it leaves a big old giant burn mark on one side of the creature, and you kind of hear the groan as it echoes through the water, kind of like a really upset humpback whale noise. And
does it affect our or its navigation at all?
Kind of like Godzilla. Actually, it's a little bit like Godzilla.
Exploding the water out and then compressing it back in.
Okay, wait, does that affect what?
Does it affect our and its navigation at all?
It is not going to affect yours, but it does have to start dodging some of the kind of like collapsing rock material around, but it's able to keep pushing through. And as you proceed further along this canyon, as this creature is it's falling back a little bit, but it still knows where you are and it's chasing you. You see a very like kind of tight canyon approaching in front of you. I figure it's probably this creature is just narrow enough to be able to fit through this canyon, but you're kind of driving into a point where it's very steep going up either direction. So R5, I'm gonna need another piloting check as you keep going.
All right.
Hunter, how far are the coordinates from where we are?
We're very close.
That's 15 total.
Take a fate point. Take a fate point.
Yeah,
yes.
I'll take a fate point.
Okay.
That's not much better. That's a 17.
So yeah, you as you approach, you just start zooming through this very tight canyon as the creature is definitely starting to lose ground, starting to fall back, but not quite out of the weeds yet. What do you guys want to do?
Is there a way I can shoot a torpedo at the wall to kind of cave it in?
Yeah, you 100% can do that.
All right, that's what I'm gonna plan to do.
All right, go ahead and give me a dexterity roll.
I'm still a gunner under deployment. Does that do anything?
Yeah, I'd say add your proficiency. That you got some more experience with operating these kinds of things.
Okay, so I'm gonna use.
So you can just do like a ranged attack roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my bowcaster. 12. Oh, plus
a D6.
A D6 for 13.
You good with that?
That's a Paul dice. That was one of Paul's dice. That's why I rolled one.
Yeah. No, I will use a fate point for it. Let's do
Go
better.
ahead and roll.
Huzzah!
That is better.
That is significantly
so
better.
23.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. R5, you hear Harry calling out to hold it steady for just a second, so that he can get his shot lined up. And just you manage to catch that exact moment of stillness, and you're able to target this little fissure on the side. And you launch the torpedo off, and just the entire canyon starts to collapse in around this one spot. And you see the creature pull back very quickly as it starts to get hit with these boulders that are sinking in. But you are able to see that it's able to kind of turn around and escape stuff as its long eel-like body kind of twists in on itself. Does like a really abrupt turn, kind of like a Chinese dragon when you see like the water dragon stuff in the water, the way that moves. It's like that. And as the collapsing begins to finish behind you guys, you burst out of this canyon at the end, and you see coming up on your scanners Tupaka City, or what is left of it, extending out into the ocean. And you find yourself soaring over a vast plain. Your sensors are picking up. It's too dark to actually see. You also pick up the many structures that once were Tupaka City that are now clearly all lying kind of all at these weird angles under the water on the sea floor. Each of them, you can tell, is very circular in its shape, or at least it once was before large chunks were taken out of some of them, and various other things. But from a distance you couldn't see it, but as you get closer you start to notice there are a few areas where lights will actually occasionally flicker on and shut off, but nothing too bright, just stuff you can start to see. And you also see that as you begin to soar kind of over the area, that at least this section of the city is kind of broken up into like 7 main chunks. And you can tell that there were these, or/are, depends on which one you're looking at, long kind of tube tunnels connecting the different sectors of varying conditions. Some of the outer ones in this area also have more of those tubes that seem to extend off away, kind of like the arms of an octopus around this central body. but whatever they once were connected to seems to be long gone, going off in those directions. And also, as you kind of go around, you notice that in particular, the two westernmost clusters of buildings, you were able to see that they both have some kind of hangar that was probably used for airships before this thing sunk into the ocean.
Huntail,
Yes.
who exactly did the bombardment?
Well, at least my understanding is that it was the Empire.
Actually, that makes sense. Yeah.
They've been moving away from clones as part of their army since the end of the war.
That's what I've heard too. All right then. So I think there's some docking bays over there. It's as good a place as any to start.
All right.
And I'm
I
just getting.
think we don't have any hints on where in the city this thing might be.
I would suppose that maybe any kind of research areas might be a good place to look. Not
Just so
have
we can
a
help you
map of the
find it.
city.
What is it exactly we're looking for?
There are a number of things, but it would probably be in some kind of data storage. But I don't imagine that it would be just out to their main computers. I think it would probably be hidden away somewhere, but my best guess would be either near whatever their proper data management center is, or somewhere near the cloning tanks.
Well, that's something to look for.
I get my rebreather ready.
Yep, same.
So there's at least coming in on the far west side of this city, where you're able to see the two hangars. One is in the northern one of the two, one's in the southern one. The northern one is more one large structure on its own, whereas the smaller one is three smaller circular structures kind of all stuck together. Which way do you want to approach?
Probably the larger one because it has more space.
Spoken like a true captain.
We'll throw them off
I like
by
this.
going into the smaller
Throw
one.
him off.
I actually like the
Never
smaller
expected.
one anyway, so
Throw him off.
No,
Let's
never
space,
expected.
less space
They'll
for
never
predatory fishies to hide.
Let's go to the smaller one, R5.
I'll never see it coming.
All right.
All right, so you guys move around over to there, and you swoop in and you approach. Everything seems fine as you approach.
No bigger fish in here.
You putter on into a much smaller hangar than the other one had, but still big enough for just 8-person sub. It is completely filled with water. There was no kind of energy shield sealing this. It wasn't meant for an outer space hangar. It was just an on-planet one. So it's just completely flooded. There's a few crates that were affixed to the floor, but you don't see any ships still inside of it. It's a fairly open spot. I'm dragging you all out. Why you shouldn't be that little. I mean, you shouldn't be that little.
I'm gonna turn my light claymore on, just to try to give myself visibility.
Okay, you can do so.
No.
Let me go ahead and yep. So I think you should have 5 feet of vision now.
Wow.
You have a nice little 5-foot radius.
Yeah, I got my own little, yeah.
You can see
He just
Granny.
glances
He's right next to
over. Dredd just glances over at Halo and he's like, useless.
you. All right, so yeah, you this is where you are right now. The big blue off to the left is going out into the ocean. To the north, there are multiple doors leading out of this room. There's one to the north, one due south, one that's middle on the eastern wall, and then one in each of the corners, northeast and southeast corners.
I'll say we flip a coin.
So we each pick one.
Or we each pick one.
We're underwater.
So, 6 of us, 2 can go one way.
She does bring up good points about the flipping a coin thing.
He's the wisest of all of us. I say we go 2 and 2 and 2.
2 and 2 and 2.
Wouldn't it be 2 and 2 and 3?
I can't see anything, so whoever I'm with is gonna have to give me a helping hand.
Well, each team can pick a direction, and we could just R5 could hang back here and keep an eye on the ship. Make sure nothing bad happens to the ship.
Oh, all right.
Unless that fish thing is still following us.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
I'm gonna chill out on one of the torpedoes. I think
On the torpedoes?
on the
Why would
the
you do that?
controls for the torpedoes.
Oh.
That makes more sense. You're going to stay here.
Where I'm capable of vision.
Monsieur Ilo, pick a door. We will go that way.
Oh boy.
Okay, so you guys are splitting up?
That's what it looks like.
What is there to be afraid of? There's nothing down here. It is a sunken city.
Stay on comms is all I'm saying.
All right. So what were the teams again?
It's you and I, Ari and Granny, Until and throw cocks on you.
All right. I guess we can go.
Unless you have a bit of suggestion.
Granny, lead the way. They take it too long.
I agree. She's gonna start moving down to the south. Which are we doing?
Harry's gonna follow.
We'll just follow like one team at a time. Just you guys go ahead and pick whichever doors you want to go through. And we'll just follow one of you for a little bit and pop around.
Hunky, can you actually see where you're going? Because if you can.
We?
Oh, I don't
Oui.
know. All right. I don't think you should be asking me where we're going, because I think you're probably a better candidate to guide us than I am right now.
Oui, I agree.
All right. I really got to learn what that means.
Who is on first?
Not fun for that one. So they went south. Do you want to go north?
That sounds good. I should avoid the we's with you. We means yes. In Twi'lek.
Oh, strange. I didn't know. I think I've heard Twi'lek. I don't think I've ever heard them say that. Okay, good.
Bonjour.
Okay, so
Oh,
so those two are going north. I'll just put you by that door for the moment. You two are going south. Which way are Untail and Dread going?
I mean, I feel front door, knock and say hello.
We can certainly try.
Figuratively, not, anyway.
I assume you mean that one, and she points at the one in the middle, on the right side.
Aye.
All right, that's which way we shall go then. So this is all going to happen simultaneously. Just so you know, it's like you guys are all kind of like leaving the room at the same time in R5. You're just hanging back there. We will get to you at some point along the way. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and start with the two heading off to the north. First thing that all of you will know as you approach is that these doors are sealed. They're like blast sealed doors all around. So you will need to do something to get them open more than just like, the usual push of the button. You need to, whatever method you have for getting through a door is up to you. But the door is locked before you.
Yeah?
Oh, that's not sorry.
in?
I think I do.
Yes.
I'm gonna take my lightsaber and I'm just gonna kind of try to Qui-Gon Jinn my way through it.
I don't see how getting stabbed and falling down a hole is gonna open the door.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, you'll see. You'll see.
Well,
yeah, it doesn't take a terribly long amount of time for you to do it. As you start to leave a gap behind, you can actually tell that inside, like you start to feel the water suck into that room. And you can tell this room was not flooded before you poked a hole in the side of it.
all right. I'll kind of stop and I'll look at Hunk. So I'm pretty sure this room is dry. But it doesn't really matter.
I'm
It
pretty
doesn't
sure
really
it is
matter.
not
'Cause
anymore.
even if we opened it the right way, it was going to get wet. So I'm just going to keep going.
It may be able to get wet and then, drained again. Next door, we will try a different way. This door
Alright.
is already flat.
I finish my Qui-Gon Jinn circle.
Yeah, you finish it. The room has very much been flooding as we're finishing the cut. And the door is just completely open at that point after you finish the cuts. And inside there is a curving hallway that bends off to the right. You see some various scuff marks all around that are slowly beginning as the water kind of keeps filling in this room. By the time you even get halfway into it, you're basically completely submerged again underwater.
Okay.
Because you just have a giant open door at thousands of feet of depth in the ocean.
Yep.
Because that's how that goes.
Do I see any electronics that are still working? Any of the terminals still on?
You do see that the left side, like the north side of the hallway, is a big kind of window looking out, but it's looking out into the darkness, so there isn't really anything to see.
as you go. And at the far end, there is another blast door.
Are there any panels on either side of the blast door?
There are panels on either side of the blast door.
I'm just going to see if I can get any response from them.
I mean, just at an initial kind of like poking it, you don't get any. It doesn't seem like there's any power.
All right, Hunk, you want to try speaking this thing's language?
Yes, I can speak many languages.
And that's okay. That's my fault. Do you want to try maybe hardwiring into this, or trying to get some power back into the terminals?
I will attempt to do so for your sake.
Did your accent just change?
No, my language changed entirely. That's how I'm indicating my different languages that I have.
I see.
That's the
Many
creepy
of.
one that usually freaks Halo out, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm speaking in a language that you don't particularly care
Yes,
for. My
I-
kids can.
Most of the language never really was built to say a lot of the phrases that you've been using, so your meaning comes through, but it's a very weird.
Sounds weird.
Completely lacking in the understanding of the idioms of the
Right.
language.
Actually, I've been meaning to ask you something.
I mean, I lack the basics of understanding galactic basic idioms, so
Actually,
So
Hunk,
you get the gist of what he's saying. It's kind of nonsense.
do you remember who programmed you to have all those languages?
yes. Master Umbran Boone programmed
And he
me.
programmed you to sort of seek out people who can use the Force too?
No,
No.
that was not programming by him.
Who is that programming by?
You wouldn't know her.
You'd be surprised. I know a lot of people.
A floating, springy arm just dismisses it.
Jeez.
It's very slow moving through the water.
Underwater, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we can have this conversation at another time when we're not submerged.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a scomp link.
There
type
is a
door or
scomp
if I
link
have to,
that
like,
you
just,
connect
like,
to, but there's no power. If you have a way of powering the door, then you could probably get some juice into it, but at the moment, it is not connected to its regular source.
Do
I
you have a
can-
power cell?
Electrify stuff, but I don't think that's a good idea underwater. No,
Probably
I
not the
didn't think
best
so.
idea.
I mean, besides that,
I have a power source within me, presumably.
Wonderful.
Could I minorly give it power from my? Can I like scomp link in and give it some of my power?
You're going to take some damage to do that, but yeah, you can do it.
I like damage.
Yeah, so you're able to do that. Roll me a D.
Ooh, I rolled a D3.
It is a 3.
and it's a 3.
Congratulations, you take 3 points of damage. But you are able to go and power the door, and it's able to activate. You figure you have basically like 2 commands that you can put into it.
Switch to binary. Please open. And then shut behind
is there like
us
a
as
shield
we
you can
enter.
put up that maybe keeps the water out, you think?
The doors do slide open very quickly. This room also was completely dry, and you both just get immediately sucked through and thrown into the room, and the doors actually also slam shut back behind you.
Oh,
There's just like, like Alo, like the tips of your boots are like touching water, but
good job,
it
Hunk.
was it operated very quickly.
Wonderful.
So you have entered this other hallway that, while it looks very similar in terms of design, you do see that there are more doors extending off of this one. There's one on your northeast side, one that's very close on the south side of the hallway from where you just came through, and there is another blast door at the very far end.
This is still pitch black, right?
5 feet of dim light.
Yeah, which really doesn't account for anything.
It's
but that's
enough
okay.
to light it's enough to light your face. with the
Yes,
camera.
it lights the block I'm standing in.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Hunk,
Yes.
I don't suppose you could maybe do that trick again and try to light something here?
Little glints of red flashing off
Light
of
something?
very smooth surfaces.
If you're asking me to light this
Do you think you could go
station
back to
with
the
power, I
could you go
do
back
not
to the
have
other-
that much energy.
language? The weird one that sounds like
Which one would you like me to speak?
the one with all the wheeze and the bonjours. Thank you.
Bonjour.
That's better. So I think we should, not just for us, but for the other 2 teams, maybe try to find a way to get some sort of light going on in here. I thought I saw some red lights.
think that
Maybe
is-
it's a terminal or something.
I think that this is maybe the purview of someone more technologically inclined.
Oh,
I think our job is to explore as thoroughly as possible.
well, it's really hard to explore thoroughly when only one of us can see.
That is very logical, but we are not smart. We do not know how to power this station. I do not know how to talk to technology as well as I talk to you.
Really? Huh. All right. Very well then. Since you're the seeing eyes, why don't you pick a door and we'll carry on our merry way.
I think we should go to the door. Well, let us see what is at the end of this curve. But the door on the left, I think, is the best option. If we continue in this direction, we will soon relink with our friends.
All right. Lead the way.
And if we want to be thorough, the point of splitting up is to explore other areas than our friends.
Sounds good.
Nice. So yeah, you guys get around, and then there is once again a similar, familiar-looking blast door. And we're actually going to jump over to another group as you approach this one. We're going to jump over to Dread and Hunting. Once again, blast door in the flooded hangar for both of you.
We open it still, whatever's inside is going to get wet.
That does seem likely. I suppose we are the accepted
But, I
flight,
mean-
so we try our best to keep as much water out as we can.
I mean, they built this on a water planet. Like, they had to have waterproofed everything, right?
I mean, they did build it to be on above the surface of a water planet. Not
Yeah, but it
submerged.
monsoons onto the surface. Like, constantly.
Right, I think that's what the blast doors are for, to keep the water out.
Alright, well, try to be as quick as I can then. And he's gonna go in and try to hack panel.
Sure. If you're going for a slicer's kit, there's no electricity coming to this panel.
Right,
So you would need to do
so
something
can
to
I
give it some juice.
plug a power cell into it?
Yep, you can plug a power cell into it.
So I will expend a power cell. I will then try to hack it. Oh, well, I presume, I guess I'll see if the power cell actually provides
The
enough
power
juice
cell does
first.
the panel starts to light up, and yeah, you can go ahead and try to. You still have to override the security protocols that caused it to lock up in the first place. But go ahead and give me that slicer's kit check.
All right, roll.
If you want to roll elsewhere, you can.
It's
If you wanna roll
Slicer's Kit or
elsewhere, you
Death. 26.
Yeah, you're able to go and get the door open, and you can very much slide through both of you and get it to close again very quickly. Rather than a hallway, you find a hall. It is a big kind of connecting room where you can start to see other doors opening. They have little signs over them that indicate like the one towards the northeast for you. You can see from this angle it says Classroom B above it. And there are like various little benches along the sides in here. There were some like potted plants kind of all around, but they've now completely overgrown with this kind of strange low light underwater plant that's begun to kind of crawl up the sides of this kind of courtyard-like room and begun to take over what was once a very pristine, just metal surface. As you move further into the room, there's you actually see a few little remnants of even one spot you see a little bit of blood on the floor that's been very dry, very old. Clearly there was some kind of something somewhat violent happened in this room whether if it was hard to tell if it was actually somebody attacking someone else or just a result of having the city bombarded from space. But you see 4 doors that all kind of seem to lead to some kind of classroom. And there is a door at the very far end that you can see that looks like a very similar blast door to the one that you just sliced open.
Alright, well, you think there's going to be anything in the classrooms? Or should we just keep
It
keep
does not
moving?
seem particularly likely to me that we'll find what we are actually here for in the classrooms, but perhaps there will be something of use. Either way, you lead this time.
And he's going to go ahead and look at the northwest classroom. Try to open that door.
Yeah, this one is actually not locked. You are able to just you have to actually physically open it, so there's no power running to it, but you're able to just kind of like shove it, and so it lifts open. Once again, still a fully dark room on the inside, but you see a fairly big, a little bit more than semicircular, kind of lecture hall looking space. There's a big panel up on one side. You actually see the remnants of, it's kind of a lot of diagrams that have been kind of etched into this surface that seems to shift like panels that can be moved around, and everything up there currently seems to be about various military tactics, stuff of that nature, as the room kind of amphitheaters up for seats, kind of going around with like little data pads hooked up to them for taking notes and whatnot. And if you want to look around the room, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
I'm gonna hold off for now, and I'm gonna check the southwest room first.
You get
Probably
a
similar experience.
Yep, you get a nearly mirror image of the same one. This one shows far more signs of some actual fighting that happened in here. There are various desk places that have been broken. There are data pads that are cracked and like scattered across the floor. There's definitely a spot where somebody kind of got thrown into one of the panels that had some instructional material on it, and it's got a big giant crack running through it where you see kind of very clearly like the outline of clone trooper shoulder pads kind of like crushed into the wall back there.
And just gotta catch them all, why not? I'm gonna check the southeast room, see what it looks like.
A much smaller room, but still that same kind of bit more than semicircular shape. This one has more of a like kind of conference table look to it. It looks like it's more meant as a actual discussion.
Okay.
And you see various data
Right.
pads kind of around various little sources, but all the lights are still. There's nothing powering it.
This room I am gonna search, I think.
Sure. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
And I'll gesture for Huntail to check the northeastern room.
She'll
I'm
nod and
searching
start
through
making
here.
her way over there. So yeah, go ahead and give me that investigation.
21.
Yeah, while you're in here, you're actually able to find a panel that seems like it's actually meant to be connected to the overall power grid. You figure if this is still connected to any kind of power, this would be the place to reactivate it for this sector.
Yeah, I'll give that a shot.
Give me a technology check, unless we got something else
All
I
right.
think is...
21.
Yeah, you actually are indeed able to kind of route it back through. There's some emergency power that kind of went a little haywire during all the explosions, but you're able to kind of get in there and kind of tell the computer like where the connections are supposed to be and get it all back up and running. And for everybody, light begins to turn on all throughout the entire area. So you are able to get the power turned back on. You do hear Huntail calling for you from the other room. She doesn't sound
Dash
panicked.
over.
She just
Oh.
she's like, Tread, why don't you come over here?
I'm gonna dash half the way, catch myself, and then try to screech to a halt and casually stroll in the rest of the way.
Feels like some kind of, if you've got a charisma
what's
skill
going
that's
on, eh?
relevant. If you've got a charisma skill that you think makes sense, then go for it. Otherwise, that's just
I
a charisma
guess
check.
deception.
Yep, there you go, deception.
That's a 5.
As you kind of go and run up and you try to be all suave, you're still like actually kind of a little bit out of breath from the quick dash. You're like,
Oh, what's going on? It's cool. How's it going?
she just
He, like,
rolls her eyes.
Slips on the wall.
She rolls her eyes as you kind of just so suavely try to enter the room. You see that she is actually over at a little computer station. This one is set up far more in like kind of a working study room. There's like various kind of data banks all around the sides, and she has one kind of pulled up already and is indicating that towards you, which we will get to later. R5, you have a little bit of time where you're hanging out in the submarine before the lights come on. What do you want to do after everybody has scattered and left you in the darkness?
Well, get the ship lights back up and start scanning.
Yep. So the lights on the ship come on without a problem.
Or, sorry, I should say the lights within the ship.
Good to know. Still, the lights inside the ship, just, you kind of power the ship on, but you don't turn on the lights. Yeah, give me a technology check.
That's a 17.
So the scanner at this point, there's kind of a lot interfering with it being inside this metal structure. You're not able to get like the layout of the inside or anything. A lot of the electromagnetic waves that you're trying to use to like read off like radar bouncing off of stuff isn't really coming through clear. But you are able to at least kind of bounce around outside and get a sense of the general direction of your allies, and definitely pick up there's something else moving.
So no cause for alarm just yet.
The lights do come on and the hangar illuminates for you. The doorway to the north side has been left very open. And with the crew scattered all about in this particular sector of Tabaka City, so we've got Granny and Harry approaching this southern one. Once again, you guys are all still completely submerged in this fully flooded room. And there's a blast door.
Oh, Granny, do you see anything?
I see a door.
Beyond the door.
Dave, can I sense anything beyond the door?
No.
There's nothing alive, at least, close to the door.
That's good. Okay. Well, is there any like panels on the outside?
Yeah, there is a panel on the outside of this one.
I highly doubt it's gonna work. Let me just break down the door at least, or try to wedge it open with the vibro battle axe.
Yeah, give me a strength check at advantage as you're using your vibro battle axes kind of lever.
With guidance.
With guidance.
18.
Yeah, you're able to kind of crank it open and get it wide enough that you both could fit through, but water is starting to flood into what appears to have been a dry room.
I will grab Granny and try to shove her in and then try to close the door behind us.
Yeah, you're able to easily get Granny through. Go ahead and give me a strength check to try to close the doors.
Alright. Oh, baby. Natural one. For
yeah, good.
Total 6.
You good at that?
You know what? Yeah, I'll just use another fate point.
Alright, go for it. Reroll.
Can't roll any worse, right? A 9.
A 9. Unfortunately, you're not quite able to do it. This room is now filled up to probably about halfway full of water. You can try again to close it if you like, but it's going to be harder to do.
Let me see. So we're in the room, right? Can I go in the room to see what's?
Yeah, you both have gone into it. I'll go ahead and.
So the door, is it a medium-sized thing or a large? So what's the size of the door?
It potentially could open to be about 10 feet wide, but it's currently 5 feet. It's been like pushed open 5 feet in.
Okay.
So big enough for you both to fit.
Yeah, I was wondering about my force push-pull ability. I can manipulate things that are of medium size. So would that apply to the door?
The door itself is not medium sized.
Okay.
I would say you could try to do that. It's going to require a force casting check, like this thing you would normally use for like a force attack.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll that, and if you're able to beat the DC for it, you'll be able to sandwich the doors back together.
Yeah, that would be 17.
Yeah, you're at 17's enough where you're kind of able to extend both hands out and just slowly use the force to kind of grind these doors shut against the incoming water. But you're able to get them to close, and the room only got about half full of water.
Sweet.
It's not completely flooded.
I swear, Granny, I knew you had it in you.
Thank you. You're my favorite. Of all the people in this group, you're my favorite. Jonathan's being really annoying lately.
What is with Jonathan? He doesn't even want to tell us he's Jonathan. Can you believe that?
I can't. It hurts my feelings.
What kind of grandson would treat their grandmother like that? It's disgusting.
It's unacceptable.
We'll get to the bottom of this, Granny. Yes, we will. Don't you worry. Alright, Granny. Just follow close behind me and we'll figure out our way through here.
All right, lead the way.
All right, and Harry's gonna lead the way forward.
You come to another blast door at the far end. Once again, shut down, locked, no power.
All right, he's gonna try to wedge the door open again.
Yeah, give me another strength check. Add advantage for your little...
Can Granny try to help with the force? I guess I don't need to.
Because,
he rolled a 24.
Yeah, I would say generally though, if you're already rolling at advantage.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yes, with a 24, you're able to just crank it open very easily. And as soon as you do, you actually get just completely slammed all of water as the doors just fly open and the room you're in begins to fill with the water from the one next door. So yeah, you can see into this room. It floods. You get kind of knocked a little bit, but you are generally speaking okay. However, you notice that on the southern wall there is a very massive gap, like leaning towards the outside. Granny, you detect something moving out just outside of the giant. And there you have another thrilling session of Starships and Scoundrels. Remember to subscribe and tune back in next week to see what else may happen to the crew of the Mayday. If you don't want to wait quite that long, go ahead and check out the channel because we have tons of other videos about RPGs, board games, video games, movies, pretty much everything nerdy under the sun. Thanks as always for watching, and may the Force be with you. Hey, you guys made it past the sea monster.
We did not have to fight the sea monster.
We did fight the sea monster. We just didn't kill him.
But
Yeah, he threw a fireball.
I just imagine Harry Johnson just emerging from like the stomach, like just cutting himself out from the inside of the beast. Where he gets swallowed like round one and just cuts his way out.
Nice.